Hey guys, welcome to today's video. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up your own AI agent that will be able to cold call your list of leads. Are you ready? My name is Davey. I'm the founder of runautopilot.co and we build cool automations for cool people using no-code tool. Let me share my screen and show you what we have for today's demo. So here is my Google Sheet list where I will have a lot of leads. So for example, I have decided to have some local shops and I'm going to try to sell them to actually book a demo for a WhatsApp automation tool in order to help them increase by 30% their bookings. And basically, I have a first column, which is the name, the last name, the company name, a phone number. So as you can see, this is my phone number here for the three of them, an email, the context about the company, the language, and then I added two columns, one for people that would be for companies that would be interested, and the other one for companies that would not respond to the phone. So I will be able to actually have a no-show status in order for me for later on. For example, if I want to set up a second round of calls in the afternoon, then I'll be able to flag only the company that didn't respond for the first round, right? So before I start showing you, it's very important that I explain something. Here, I have already did two no's in this column for the simple reason that, as you saw, this is my phone number. So if I do not do that, basically, I'm going to receive 3 calls at the same time while doing this demo. So I just want to prevent that. So basically, it's almost like if I already had a first batch that was done and those two were not interested, but now we're going to tackle the last one in this demo. So basically, just to give you a bit of a context here, because basically when you have this kind of tool, because it's going to create different conversation in Relevance AI, that means that all those phone calls will happen almost simultaneously. So which is good. That means that you can scale it. But obviously, if you have your phone number, then that becomes a bit harder to manage. So with that being said, let's go to make.com. So in make.com, I have this trigger. So basically, this trigger right now is just based on time. You are obviously free to set it up the way you want to, but I'm just going to run it and you will see what's going to happen. So I'm going to receive a phone call from this AI agent. So I'm going to Relevance AI right now. I'm going to check the call caller agent. So here we are. And now we can see that there is an API call that just happened right now. So I share all the data about it. So I will uncover everything in a minute about the implementation. So you too can build this kind of AI agent. And now we can see the agent performing different tasks. So the first one is check Google Calendar availabilities. And then the next step will be for him to call me in order to try to schedule a demo. So I'm going to try to challenge him a little bit about it. And then I will accept the demo. And I will try afterwards to run another demo. And this time I will say that I'm not interested and we will see how he reacts, right? So now we're just going to wait. This process can always take a bit of time because if you have a lot of availabilities, obviously he needs to retrieve all those data. And that often takes like few seconds or a minute to do. So the busier you are, the faster is this process. And basically also, because in this case, he has the possibility to find a slot in the next 8 days. That's a lot of slots knowing that the demo is only half an hour. So that's the reason why I always take like a few minutes here, but that's okay. At least you know it. You can optimize it. So now I'm about to receive a phone call. As we can see, this is the task that's been running now, demo call. So now I can see, so I'm getting this phone call. So I'm just going to pick it up. Hi.
Hi, Lena. I'm calling from runautopilot.co. We help local businesses increase their booking by 30% using our WhatsApp tool. I would like to offer you a demo so you could see by yourself. Would you be interested?
Sorry, what is it about?
Of course, Lena. I'm calling from runautopilot.co. We help local businesses like your nail artistry boutique increase their bookings by 30% with our WhatsApp tool. Would you be interested in seeing how it works through a demo?
But is this tool already working? Are there other businesses would implement it already?
Yes, absolutely. Many local businesses are already using this tool and have seen up to a 30% increase in their bookings. It's been quite effective in helping them streamline their service bookings and orders. Would you like to see a demo of how it could benefit your business as well?
Sure, we can do that. So, do you have a slot? I don't know, maybe on the 18th of February?
Great. Let me check the availability for you. On February 18th, we have slots at 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 10 a.m. Do any of these times work?
No, do you have like 11 a.m.?
I'm sorry, but we don't have an opening exactly at 11 a.m. on February 18th. The closest available times to that would be at 11 a.m. or 11:30 a.m. Would either of those times work for you?
So let's do 11 a.m. then.
Perfect. I have you booked for a demo on February 18th at 11 a.m. Does that still work for you?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Could you please confirm your email address so I can send you the confirmation?
Sure. So info@runautopilot.co.
Thank you, Lena. I'm going to send you a confirmation at info@renautopilot.co. We're now set for February 18th at 11 a.m. We're looking forward to showing you how your business could potentially see an increase in revenue. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
You're welcome, Lena. Goodbye.
All right. So that was a funny one because he say he doesn't have the slot, but then they offer me obviously the slot. So I guess that's what happened with AI. Sometimes the most important is I definitely get the slot that I wanted. But yeah, this is what happens. So now, if we're looking at like the flow, what's happening right now, we can see that the call is still running because I just hung up, but I think it needs time to create the transcript of the call. And once the transcript will be done, then we will see different action taking place. So the first one is now we should have an event that's been scheduled in my calendar. So we can see right now, I have definitely this demo that's been booked for the 18th at 11. And now I should have an update in my Google Sheet. As we can see, not interested. There was nothing before. Now I've booked. So I've been able to update live my Google Sheet as well. So let's run another experiment now. So I'm going to copy this here. Let me just resize this. There we go. And I'm going to call, I'm just going to, you know what? Actually, I'm just going to get this one because it's already done. So this time I will be Bob and I have a sushi shop. All right. And I will not be interested. So we're going to run the exact same experiment, but this time I'm going to be a bit more harsh, see what's happening in this case. So let's go. Let's run it one more time. And so basically now we can see I'm running a different conversation now. So this is great because that will also allow you to understand that if you have multiple people that you need to cold call every day, then you'll be able to do it simultaneously, which give you enough room to, for example, to do several batch across the day for people who are not going to pick up your call or people who are not interested or people who are interested. Actually, you can have a different set of actions happening as well later on. So now, like before, we can see that the AI agent is going to check Google Calendar availability. And after that, the next step will be for him to call me again. And this time, I'm just going to say no. And we will see as well what's going to happen in the Google Sheet right here. So let's wait. So now I should receive a call very soon. There you go. So I received another call. Let's pick it up. Hello?
Hello, Bob. I'm calling from RenautOpilot.co, we help local businesses increase their booking by 30% using our WhatsApp tool. I would like to offer you a demo so you could see it for
No,
yourself.
sorry. Stop calling me. I'm not interested. I'm really not interested.
I understand, Bob. Thank you for your time, and I wish you a great day.
Have a good day. Bye.
Take care, Bob. Goodbye.
All right. So this time I want to be a bit more hard on him because obviously when you call people, this can happen. So you have to be ready as well for that. And now we will see what's going to happen. So now we can see live on my screen that actually interested, I have a no. So that's updated the entire file. I mean, the entire file, the line. But this is what would happen if he had to call like 10,000 people as well. This is what would happen. So we'll be able to know who would be interested, who would not be interested, and then maybe find a different approach later on, either send an email, send a demo. But that gives you already a good idea about what can be done with this automation. So now you have a clear idea about what's possible and what we can do. So now I'm going to uncover everything so you will be able as well to set it up yourself. So the first thing that I want to do is to share my screen and show you again the tech stack that we have for today. So first thing you may have noticed, we have make.com. So that's what we use as a trigger. The trigger was based on time. Right now, obviously, there's 1,000 different triggers that you can set up. Relevance AI. So this is where we have set up our own AI agents in order to perform this task. Google Calendar in order to show the booking directly in the calendar. Then Google Sheet. This is where I had this list of leads. Obviously, there can be any other CRM. Really depends on what you have. What about the overview? So how does it work? So basically, the trigger was made from make.com, but it can be literally from the Google Sheet itself, which is every time a new lead is added to Google Sheet, then you can have this AI agent checking, first of all, like the current time, then checking availabilities in the calendar, making a phone call, and then actually uploading the event here directly in the calendar. As you saw, there is an update happening in the Google Sheet, and this update is actually linked directly to the phone call. And I would show you, I have an automation in make.com that will then update the file. So it doesn't appear here because it's not related to the AI agent, but it's just happening within the phone call action. So I will show you this as well. And now that we're ready, let's have a look at the implementation. So let's go back to what we have here. First of all, I'm going to cover the trigger in make.com. So in make.com, we have this trigger here that is based on time, which means that when I press run once, it's going to run it. But obviously, your goal is to automate it to make it run on a regular basis. So the first thing here, we have the Google Sheet. So what I want to do from the Google Sheet is to check in the Google Sheet and to retrieve basically, to search all the rows where the phone number exists and where interested is empty. Here, if it's already booked, I don't want it to call a company that's already booked. I don't want him to call a company that said that not interested. So I just want him to call him every time interested is empty. So making sure that we haven't reached out to this lead yet. So that's what he has to do here. That's the filter that I put in this module. Then I'm setting up variables. So in the variables here, I'm going to have a recap about the data that I want to extract from the Google Sheet to send it to my AI engine. So in this case, the name of the person, the surname, the company, the phone number, the email, and the context. The context, as you saw in the first call for the nail shop, it helps the AI agent to know a little bit more about my business. So making sure if I ask him a question, they will be able to make a link between my business and the solution that he's trying to sell me, right? Then we have the starting date. So the starting date is based on now, basically, and the finishing date is now plus 8 hours. That's going to be important to check availabilities as well and giving him like a kind of idea about the dates and all of the stuff. Then we have here the module for the call towards Relevance AI. So how to trigger my agent. So my agent is triggered through an API. So this is the code I have. And I'm literally mentioning the agent ID here, and I put the data that I just set up before right here in the content. And then I have the repeater module. Why? Because it's like, right now I just showed the example with one line because I didn't want to be called several times. But basically, because let's say now I have 5 different contacts or 10 or whatever, using the repeater here will allow me to do the exact same action for every single line that I'm going to retrieve from the Google Sheet. So this will allow me to make several calls simultaneously. So this is why we have the repeater here. It was not useful in this case because I just had one, but it will be useful in the more complex cases where you need to call more people. So now, once this is done, we can go back to what actually happened here. So we had this first call with the nail shop, and we can see the first thing that he did was to retrieve the availabilities. So this is the date that we provide to him. here. So the starting date. So starting date will be today, and the end date was like 50. Is like 8 days later. So that's what we have here in the make.com. It's like I'm adding 8 days. So basically, that giving a starting date and a finishing date in order to retrieve the availabilities. You can put like 14 if you want to have all the availabilities for the 2 next weeks. It's just going to take slightly longer at the very beginning to retrieve all those data. But as you can see, this is all the slots available for the next 8 days, half an hour, right? So that's the first thing he has to do. The second thing that he has to do is to make the cold call. So here we have different variables that I'm going to cover when we're going to check the tool. But basically, I'm going to provide him with all the availabilities and then the company details, company name, all that stuff, so he will be able to perform the call. Once the call has been performed, you need to schedule an event in the case of we agreed that an event needed to be set up. So that's what he has to do here. He has to make sure as well, I will be part of this event as the organizer, because it's not just for the attendee, but it's also for me to know that, hey, actually you have a demo with this guy. So that's what we're going to cover too. And if we look at the other one here, the main difference is because I was not interested, he didn't set up an appointment afterwards, which makes sense, right? And so that was part as well of the different flow. So let's jump into the tool. So if I check the tool, what do I have? I have the starting date, the end date, so what I just covered before, the make.com, and the meeting duration. The demo in this case is 30 minutes, so we leave it to 30 minutes, but obviously this is something that you can edit. And the module that we're using is the check Google Calendar availability. So that's the inbuilt module within Relevance AI. We just need to provide here the date, so we use the variable. So to use the variable, you need to go on your keyboard and add this double accolade, and then you can check the variable. And the variable in our case is from the input. So this is just what we add, slot duration as well. And then here we can define how long, what's the amplitude that this guy can book meetings for me within a day. So my day start at 9, end up at 5. So that's the amplitude that I have for him. But now I could say I just want meetings for the afternoon. So in this case, it will be from 12 to 4, for example, from 12 to 6. That I can decide when I want him to set up the appointment for me, which also free me my time if I want to do like some focus work every morning. So that's great. That's what I do. And that's it for this one. So for this tool, that's all we have to do. Then what do we have? So we have another tool that's been set up for this guy. So let's check the other tool is the call, the demo call, obviously. So for this one, we have a lot of input. First of all, the available demo times. So that's what we retrieve from the Google Calendar check availabilities before. The phone number, obviously, coming directly from the Google Sheet. Company details, recipient's name. Here, actually, I can delete that. Then the recipient's surname, the company name, recipient's email. So all of this is coming from the Google Sheet that we had and that was pushed through make.com, right? Once it's done, we have a module called Initiate Call. An Initiate Call, what we're going to fit in with is first the phone number. Then we will create a prompt. So the prompt will help us to already tell the agent who is it for and what it has to do. So basically, he's going to call local businesses in order to offer a demo for WhatsApp tool. And then we explain a little bit what the WhatsApp tool is about. That we explain there's a 30% increase on the number of orders among the business already using it. And then if we have this line, if they are not interested, don't insist. So depending on your use case, some people want to still like try to sell something to force selling. I don't think that will be smart to do that. So I'm just going to say if they're not interested, don't insist. And I will try a different approach next time by sending an email or something like that. I think that will make more sense. And then we have like the assistant prompt here. So basically, we just explained that we first of all want to replace the date and the time with what I have provided him with. Okay. And he should also make sure to not provide any missed explanation about what he's doing. So he should act like this agent with me. So he has to speak like if he was me. So do not provide any external data. And we provide him with the company details here. That's what we said. The person's name, surname he has to talk to. and the availabilities that he needs to check. And then we give him like this first line, which is, hey, and then the name of the person I'm calling from. And then the first line is, we help local businesses increase the booking by 30% using our WhatsApp tool. And then I would like to offer you a demo so you could see by yourself. Would you be interested? So that's the icebreaker. Basically, that's what we have. Obviously, you can adapt the flow and the script the way you want to. And then if yes, then you work with them to find a time that will fit their need, right? Only suggest a couple of day max, only suggest 3 alternatives. It's always to make sure that there's not too many options and the call doesn't last for too long. We'd rather have the client to ask us for a specific slot and then find what we have available around this time, rather than having the agent try to push all the slots available. As you saw, we had like hundreds of slots available across the 8 next days. So there's no point, right? And then once it has been confirmed, then we explain that we do not want any meta explanation, but I have booked a demo at this date, at this time. Does it still work for you? And then if it's yes, then it's finished. This job is done. He has to say, have a great day. And if it's not, then it's just, sometimes he can also work with them how to understand if they're not interested. But it's really in the case where someone's not sure, this is the moment where we start asking questions to understand how, but why not? And then if they say, I'm not interested, it's just going to back up and say, okay, thank you very much. Have a great day, right? So once this is done, we have another module, which is retrieve the call details. So we're just going to set up this variable coming from this, basically this call. So we have an ID that we'll be able to retrieve, and we use this ID here in the variable. And that will help us get the transcript of this. That will help us get the transcript of this call. And from this transcript, we'll be able to perform several tasks. So the first one, I'm adding an LLM module here because I want to know out of this conversation, is the client interested or not? So basically what's happening here is if the client is interested, I want you to return booked. That's the stuff that I ask him to do. If the client is not interested, I want you to return not interested. And if the client didn't pick up the phone, then I want you to return no show. So that's what's going to happen. He will be able to know this from the transcript directly, right? Then we will make an API call. And this is the API call that we have in make.com. So I'm just going to show you afterwards. But basically, every time there's a call that happens, I still have this API call that's going to happen for make.com in order to let make know what was the status of the call. So here we have the status, and the status is the answer to this module here. So it's basically 3 options: booked, not interested, no show. 3 options, simple. And then we have the company name, and we're using the company name in order to help us find the right row in the Google Sheet. Then we have another module afterwards based on the answer. So I added a condition here. So you have these 3 dots here where you can add the conditions. Based on the answer that we have at this module here, so if it's equal to booked, that means that you have another action to take, which is to return the data that I will need in order to make this booking happen. In this case, that means extract from the transcript the date we agree on for the demo in ISO format, return the starting date ISO format, return the ending date ISO format, which is the starting date plus 30 minutes. The event title will be the company name X demo. Event description is going to be company details plus the key points from the conversation. Attendee email. So in this case, if you remember well, he asked me to confirm my email. And basically, I already had an email in my Google Sheet, but I just want to make sure that it's the right email. So what I said to him is, when he's going to ask me for my email, because sometimes there might be some typo, right? Like you can say something, I'm going to say something on the phone, and he's going to misinterpret the email that I just said. So what I tell him, what I put in my prompt here is basically you check the email that you received as an input. If what the client seems to be a strong match with this email, then assume that this email that we have is correct. However, if the email is different, it seems like slightly different, then use the email that the client is saying and make sure it contains the @and.com. And if it seems like the email doesn't seem correct, then in this case, use the default email that we had before. So the idea is to really check that we have the right email in order to send the confirmation afterwards. Once this is done, we have now the other tool. So let's go back to this guy, and we have this tool right here, which is the schedule event in calendar. So pretty basic tool. And this one basically will use basically what we have set up here, which is like event title, a meeting description, a starting time, an end time, and sales agent email, which is by default, this is my email because I'm the organizer. The attendee email is the email that we add from the Google Sheet. So this is all the data that we passed on during the call, basically. So it was this one. For example, if I go here, that's what we receive. That's the input that he got. He got all of this because when we finished the call, the output was this. So we had all the info in the output, right? So that's the reason why we pass it on. So basically, we just then add create an event in the Google Calendar with the Google Calendar module, and we just map out all the different variables: event title, meeting description, start and ending time. And then here we can add all the attendees. So in this case, there's me, and there's this client that we just booked a meeting with. And there's another tool that the AI agent hasn't used, but is able to use it if it needs to for whatever reason, which is the time zone tool, right? And this one will just give us the current time based on where we are. And that will help the agent to also understand the different time based on where the client is, because we might call someone that is currently traveling. So we always want to make sure that we have the right time. So this tool is very simple. Get the current time, and we set up the time zone that we are in. And voila. Now, let's check it out how this agent has been set up, and then let's cover what's happening in make.com as a result. So here we have this guy called the cold caller. So that's his name. And this agent calls people in order to set up appointment for WhatsApp online ordering system and book appointment in my calendar. Then we have the core instruction. So that's the standard operating procedure that we have, the objective. So your goal is to call local businesses, book a demo for WhatsApp solution. So that's what we say here. Then you need to collect the required information. So the user will provide you with the following details before you proceed: prospect name, last name, phone number, email. Then the current date and zone, use this tool, the business description. So do not proceed to the call until you have the current time. So you already had it because by default, you already knew that we were based here. Check the availabilities. All demo lasts 30 minutes, and you need to calculate the end time, which is always the starting time plus 30 minutes. Then you offer demo time. So here we provide an example. The time zone is CET, so that's why we set it. That's why you didn't have to check. And if no calendar availability is given, retrieve the next 2 weeks of availability, right? In our case, we already had some, so that was good. Then he needs to make the call. So he needs to offer a demo time using the call tool, which is like the tool that allows him to make the phone call. Do not meta explain. So this is something that we often repeat. So it's just do not meta explain. So this is always something that we repeat in order to make sure that that is not going to give up like too many details that's unnecessary. We just want this agent to run smoothly. And then finalize the demo, which is based on the result of the call. If it contains book, that means the demo is successfully scheduled. So you finalize it by scheduling actually the event using the tool that we provided. And you include this following attendee. If the status is not interested or not show, then your task is completed and there's nothing else that is expected from you. And then we just add this line, which is maintain a bias toward action, focus on securing the appointment efficiently. That's what we need from him, basically. Then Flow Builder, I added different instructions. The first one is check the current time zone, check availability using the Google Calendar availability tool, make the phone call. And then if it's successful and the client wants to book a demo, then only then you use the schedule call event in calendar tool, right? Now, in terms of tools, so that's what we just saw before. There's those 4 tools. That's it. And we have nothing else, basically. That's it. Everything else has been set up this way. So now you know how to do it as well. And I just want to finish this implementation part by showing you also the second part of the flow, which is this one. So what we have here is basically, we have a webhook. So if you remember well, we had this API call coming from the agent that was directly triggering this webhook here. And this webhook, we're going to follow up with data. So I'm just going to go through the history part of it. So let's say this one, for example. And what we can see here is the output was not interested. So that was the last call. And that was for the sushi shop. And now we have a router. And based on the response that we have here, we have three different options: the no-show, not interested, or the booked. So in this case, for the not interested, here we have a filter that was if the status contains not or contains not with a capital N. In this case, you need to update the row. So here we have the module that will look for the row based on the company name and then update the value on this one. So we update the row here and we search for the row first. And this is the same reasoning for all of them, same logic. First, we search the row based on the company name that we provide. So here you have Sushi for Me. That's the company name that I have at this place. And then once you find the row that is Sushi for Me, then you update a particular row. So I'm just going to uncover it in a minute. And then if I go back to the history, add another one here. And this time, if you remember where we booked, so it was with My Shop Beauty Nail. And when we booked here, the filter was like, if it contains booked like this, a book with not capital B, then you have to proceed to the same logic. So now webhook has been set up. We just make the call to this API and we send the parameters that we want. Here, search the row. So you set up the sheet that we're talking about. And then this is where we add the filter. So in the company column, look for the company name. And once you find the company name, update the row. So now we're just going to refer to the row that we found before. And we go to the column I, which is this one, the no-show column, and we say true. So this is in the case that someone didn't pick up the phone. This is what we want to update. In the case where it's not interested, same thing here. We're looking for the company here. So with the company name. And then we update the row. And now you can see interested, which is this column. We put no as a value. And here we have the same thing, except that we will put booked as a value. This is how we can update our entire CRM based on the result of the call. Hope that's clear enough. Now, if we go back to this part, what's about the budget to set up something like this? So basically for make.com, if it's the only automation that you have, you will be good with a free plan because we can run up to 2 automations on the free plan. And as you saw, there's the webhook part and there's the one that will trigger every time there's a new row added in a Google Sheet. So that will be enough for the free plan. If you have more than that, obviously you have to go on the pay plan. Relevance AI, I'm afraid that with the free plan, it won't be enough. You probably will need to go on the pay plan. So the first plan will allow you to already make like a decent number of calls. Google Calendar is for free. Google Sheet is for free. So that's great. Obviously, if you have a different CRM, then you can already use your CRM and then probably not have to pay for that. It depends what you have, depends how you need to integrate those modules, but this is how it can work. So this is a perfect example of cold calling. Obviously, you can take this to a different level. There's cold call, but there's also call for safety reasons, security reasons. So we can imagine hundreds of different ways that to use that. But like in this particular case, it was mostly for sales. And that's what's really good is like you can see, you can literally connect your CRM. You can have a CRM up to date. You can also connect, let's say if you have an e-commerce, you want to send like, you want to call someone and tell them about the parcel has been delayed, whatever. You can do a lot of different cool cases with this. The most important was to show you that we can literally call different leads from a list. We can update this list as well. And all of that can run super smoothly. And honestly, even like the feeling of talking with this AI agent is like, it's still great. Honestly, it's great. It can only be better from now. So it's really, really cool for the future. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Just put me a comment if you like it. If you have any ideas, any topic that you would like me to cover, feel free to drop it in the comment. If you have a project, you need help with anything, feel free to reach out. info@runautopilot.co. My name is Davey, and I'll see you in the next video.